Welcome. Today, we're going to step into the shoes of an IT detective. We're on a mission to solve one of the most common mysteries out there. Not a system that's completely broken, but one that's just painfully slow. We're going to uncover the art of structured thinking and crack the case of those frustratingly slow logins. You know, it always starts with this one simple phrase. A phrase that probably haunts help desk tickets all over the world. Citrix login is slow. This isn't just a technical problem. You can almost hear the sigh of frustration behind it. This is our case file. This is the mystery we're here to unravel. And you know, this is what makes it so maddening. A system that's completely down, well, that's an obvious problem. But a slow system? That's different. It just dangles hope in front of you, making you wait and wait and wait. It's a kind of problem that quietly steals minutes and sometimes hours from your day. For the user, it's agonizing. And for the admin, well, the clock is ticking. So when you're faced with this pressure, what does our detective, the senior administrator, actually do? Do they panic? Start flipping switches and hoping for a lucky break? No. A real expert, they just take a breath. And they activate their most powerful tool, their mind. Okay, let's really dive into their process. A rookie? Well, they might just start rebooting servers, right? It's a frantic shot in the dark. But the expert? They know that chaos just creates more chaos. Their secret weapon isn't some fancy piece of software. It's a disciplined method. It's structured thinking. And that's what separates a random search from a real investigation. So, the expert's investigation, it always starts with one single foundational question. Before they even think about why it's slow, they have to know where it's slow. You gotta pinpoint the location of the crime before you can solve it. See, a login isn't one single event. It's not like flipping a switch. It's a chain of events, a whole sequence of steps that have to happen in perfect order. Is the delay right at the beginning, when you enter your password? Or is it happening when your profile is loading? Finding the weak link in this chain, that's our first major clue. Now that we have our first clue, we can really start to narrow down our search. Let's begin by investigating the parts of the journey that are personal to the user. We've got to look at their identity and all their digital belongings. Our first suspect is authentication. Think of this as the moment the system acts like a security guard, checking the user's ID card. Now, if this guard is slow or distracted or has to run and check with a bunch of supervisors, the entire line just grinds to a halt right at the front door. So now it's time to look for evidence. Our detective starts digging into the system logs. Are the domain controllers, the official keepers of everyone's identity, responding slowly? Is the digital path to them all clogged up? Are there way too many security rules being checked right at the door? Each answer is a clue, and it might just point to authentication as our culprit. Okay, so let's say the user's ID checks out, they're past the front door, the next thing the system has to do is set up their personal office. This is the user profile, all their unique settings, their files, their preferences. And what's really interesting here is how physical this can feel. Imagine if your profile is like a massive, overflowing suitcase. If that suitcase is just too big, or if it's stored in a warehouse far, far away, or maybe the suitcase itself is just broken, it's going to take a really long time to get it to your desk. Our detective is looking for exactly that kind of evidence. All right, the user is in, their desk is being set up, but before they can even start working, the system has to apply the company rulebook. We call these the group policies, and they dictate pretty much everything, from what printers you can see to what software you're allowed to run. Now, imagine if that rulebook is 1,000 pages long, just filled with complex instructions and scripts. Well, the system has to read every single word before the user can click a single icon. So our detective investigates. Has this rulebook just gotten too big? Are there new, complicated rules that are slowing everything down for everybody? So far, we've really focused on the user. But what if the user and their data are totally innocent? It's time to turn our investigation toward the system itself. We need to check its alibi. Is the underlying infrastructure actually healthy enough to do its job? This brings us to our next major suspect, the virtual delivery agent, or VDA. The easiest way to think about this is like the engine room of a ship. It's the server that's actually providing all the horsepower for the user session. And of course, an overworked engine is always going to be slow. So our detective checks the ship's vitals. Is the CPU maxed out? Is it gasping for memory? Is it trying to serve way too many people at once? These vital signs, they're undeniable proof if the machine itself is under strain. So all this communication between the user, the servers, the data, it all happens over the network. It's kind of like the unseen connective tissue of our entire system, the digital roads that link everything together.
And it really doesn't matter how healthy your server is if the roads leading to it are just one big traffic jam. Our detective will check for congestion, for lost packets of information, or even for security checkpoints like firewalls that might be causing these unexpected delays along the route.
Okay, we've investigated the user, the system, and the network. We have a solid list of suspects, but experienced detectives, they always have one more trick up their sleeve. One question that, so often, just blows the case wide open. This is it. This is the golden rule of troubleshooting. What changed? Because systems don't just decide to become slow overnight for no reason. Almost every single problem is a reaction to some kind of change. This is the question that turns a good detective into a great one. And that change could be anything. A new security patch, an updated policy, a software update. The detective meticulously goes back through the change logs, knowing that the root cause, the smoking gun, is often hiding in plain sight, right there in the history of the system. And this really leads us to the fundamental truth, the whole philosophy behind an expert's method. They don't just see a slow profile or a stress server or a new policy as separate things. They see a single interconnected system where one tiny change can create ripples everywhere. Because in the end, the goal of a true expert isn't just to put a quick fix in place and close the ticket. It's to understand why the problem happened in the first place. It's about seeing the whole picture. Because when you understand the system, you don't just solve today's mystery, you prevent tomorrow's. And that is the true mark of a master detective.
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you for watching this video. My name is Naresh. I am the content creator behind this YouTube channel. I have created a community for Citrix learners where I will be posting a lot of details on Citrix products and how to work in Citrix environments. I'm going to mention the link in the video description so you can click on that link and you can become part of the community. All right, see you soon. Bye bye.